camera, come on, you're such a pro. Hi everybody, welcome to the AHIP Consumer Experience and Digital Health Forum. Good to see you guys way over there and over there. All right, I'm gonna just jump right in and Matt, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you for having me here, but I wanna introduce myself to you guys. And I'd like to shout out the Nashville Healthcare Council for bringing us here and working with AHIP. Pleasure to be here in Nashville. So as Matt said, I'm Jessica DaMassa. I'm the executive producer and host of WTF Health. That's right, WTF Health, which like Matt said, stands for What's the Future of Health. So what is this? Why? Why do we need to ask WTF Health in this industry? So like Matt said, what I'm doing is basically traveling around the world. And I think it's really important for us to get a global understanding about what's going on in health and technology and innovation and brand and consumer engagement in other places. I mean, we know how much we spend on our healthcare system, and we know how not so optimized our outcomes are, not so optimized our access is, all of those things. So we need to look outside of ourselves to find a solution. I've been to 11 different countries, 17 different health innovation conferences, and I've talked to about 400 people. That's just this year. Like lifetime total, I think I'm at 700 or so different interviews with people who are playing in this health innovation ecosystem. So really, I feel like I've spoken with absolutely everybody. And what I'm looking for is I want to be able to build, not only for myself, but for the people who can watch these charming little video interviews on YouTube, one global perspective on the future of health. And I think that this is really important. I started my interest in this at a Blue Cross plan. I am one of you. So I was at Florida Blue. Is anybody here from Florida Blue? Anybody? Oh, no? Oh, hey! Good to see you guys. So yeah, I started my career there, and I was in brand strategy, and I was on the innovation team, and I will never forget just how challenging it was to bring some of these outside solutions into the mothership, and then go to meeting after meeting after meeting, and try to get buy-in for these solutions when everything that was happening with this giant cruise ship of an organization was going in a completely different direction. And one of my mentors in my role, my innovation role, had said to me, you know, what you need to do if you really want to be innovative is think outside your constraints. And so that's always stuck with me, and that's kind of why I really made a point of going outside of the US to find out a little bit more about what other countries are doing to engage consumers. You know, everybody's got the same problems. I've learned this in the last year especially. Everybody's trying to drive down the cost of care. Everybody's trying to improve outcomes. Everybody's trying to improve access. I mean, and whether you're tackling diabetes here in the States or you're tackling it over in Finland, I mean, you've got a different approach, and yeah, the payment model is different, but that's the constraint that really holds us back a lot of times from using our imaginations and figuring out, you know, what we could do if we weren't held back by that. So that's why I'm taking a global look at this, and I think that there's a lot to learn. I've been so surprised by some of the things that I've found out about how people are tackling the same problems in different parts of the world. So who am I talking to? Who am I asking all these questions of? Well, I mean, geez, everybody. So, I mean, CEOs of health plans, you can see Mario up there in the corner. I'm talking to big tech companies, I'm talking to Uber, talking to the hottest health tech startups, I'm talking to pharma companies, I'm talking to investors, so that means like angels, VC investors, and institutional investors at pharma companies and health plans and health systems. I'm talking to ZDogg MD, I'm talking to people wearing pink socks. Any pink socksers out there? Oh, yeah, that's our hands. All right, I'm talking to people with pink socks, I'm talking to people without pink socks, I'm talking to futurists. Some of them are self-proclaimed, some of them are legit. Yeah, I know, right? How do you self-proclaim yourself a futurist? I'm talking to people who are running media in different countries, so aggregating different information. I'm talking to podcasters, I'm talking to thought leaders, I'm talking to radio personalities, I'm talking to, this is the world's first ever digital surgeon, Shafi Ahmed. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him, but he's pretty cool. He Snapchatted a surgery. That's pretty innovative right there, and really breaking, and it really, I mean, that might sound silly, but it is innovative, right? Because he's breaking down the walls between the surgeon on his pedestal and the rest of us who are really curious and engaged and want to know all about what's going on in the operating room and how is this guy using VR and AR and some cool robotic tools to make health outcomes better and, you know, bring down the cost of care and all those other things that we, you know, talk about loosely. I mean, this guy's doing it. So it's awesome to talk to people like that. I actually also interviewed this cute little hedgehog just last week. I did. I asked him about health innovation. I did. I was in Tokyo. I was at Health 2.0 Japan Asia. That was my first time ever in Asia, period, and it was amazing. And as one does in Tokyo, you go to a cafe where you can have tea with animals. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is like a thing there, legit. You can go and have tea with a cat, like a cat cafe, or there's an owl cafe. But like the owl cafe really creeped me out. Like I kind of felt like my eyes were gonna get pecked out, like it was weird. So yeah, so I picked hedgehog. And so while we were there, I interviewed it, and I asked it, in particular, if you're curious, about the Affordable Care Act changes to, because that had just happened this week, and I asked it about the changing policy that shifts the pre-existing condition mandate to the states. And there's video footage, obviously, of his answer, and so you can watch this on my YouTube channel if you'd like, but basically, he was speechless and a little prickly about it. So, yeah. I wanted to bring him back, actually, and called him and named him Sec Azar, but I wasn't sure if that was going to pass muster. So why am I here? Bothering all of you people, overly caffeinated, super excited about health plan innovation. I'm here for 3 reasons. One of them, the first one, is to make it safe for you guys to ask big questions. I mean, I remember being in a health plan. I remember working there, and I remember how hard it was to even just ask certain questions because you're just so mired in the status quo, and you're these giant behemoth organizations, and you're like the cornerstone of the American healthcare system. But you have to ask questions. You have to be provocative, and you have to chase your curiosity. And so I'm hoping that by being here, asking the question that I know all of you have sat in your little cubicles and asked, like, oh my God, WTF are we doing? Like, I mean, truly, and what's the future? How can we make this better? How can we change this? How can we move forward from our status quo? So I am here to challenge you, and so I hope you will push back, and I hope you will ask these panels of people the hardest freaking questions, and really satisfy your curiosity, wonder why not. I mean, whatever, just make sure that you're engaging with us. As you can tell, I'm pretty chatty. So I love to talk. I'm going for trying to be the Oprah of health innovation here. So I want to hear from you, and you, and you, and you, and maybe I'll give away cars later, who knows. So the second reason I'm here, I'm trying to make health plan friends. You know, I don't have enough of you. I've got a great little contingent of people that I'm friends with still from Florida Blue, and I've run into a few health plans in my travels, but you guys are not at the conferences that I'm at. And where are you? I mean, not that you shouldn't be here at AHIP, but you've got some nice, big, professional dev budgets, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Work in one of these health innovation events. Take a look. If you need suggestions, let me know. Or you can just go and check out where I've been, pick a couple interviews, watch, and see what might be of interest to you. But we need to hear you. So this health technology crowd that I'm running with, the health innovation set, if you will, they need to hear what the challenges are from health plans, because they have no clue. They're making it up. And that's why a lot of times when you guys meet with startups or you're getting tech solutions thrown at you and things are per member per month and you're like, why? It's because they have no idea what your challenges are. They have no idea what your priorities are. They don't even know who to talk to, who's the right person in your organization. So come out of the cubicles, come to some of these other health innovation events and meet these people, because they're dying to hear what you want to invest in. They're dying to hear what problems you want to fix. And it's like they have no way of really understanding. I promise, they're friendly. They're really friendly. Most of them are wearing hoodies and are millennials. I mean, you can talk to them about, like, I don't know, craft whiskey. I mean, that's a good opener pretty much anywhere in the world. Right. The third reason I'm here is that I want to bring you guys some news from my health tech friends. So give you guys just an idea of what's going on out there and what you need to be ready for, and hopefully set your mind in a different place for this event right here and what we're going to be talking about. So this is the investment for this year so far in digital health. And the money keeps pouring in. I mean, it's like, let's make it rain, right? So in all of last year, 2017 ended up at 11.5 billion. And at the end of Q3, we're at 11.1. So safe to say, this year is going to be the biggest year in digital health investment yet. And there's no sign of stopping. Are these investments good investments, bad investments? We'll see. You know, it's going to be hard to get a return. But everybody in this room, from the health plans, I mean, you guys need to keep tabs on this. And like I said, we're curious about what's piquing your interest. Generally speaking, what's piquing the market's interest so far, it's in a couple different categories. So lots of investments in virtual care, so like the telemed world. Lots of investment in diagnostics, with a big focus on like Personalized medicine, obviously, I'm sure that's no surprise to you guys. And then new care providers. So how do we do care a little bit differently? How are we organizing? This is all, again, driven by changes in payment model from a couple years ago, and people trying to leverage off of that and tech enable it and make it more consumer friendly, which is what you're trying to do too, right? Health insurance companies are getting in the game. So this is Omada Health, what you're looking at. This is their website. So they're a diabetes care management platform. They were initially invested in heavily in 2014 by Kaiser. So, health plan provider system, right? And then now their biggest investor is Cigna. And so, there's a lot of stuff happening, and you guys are in the game. But, the game is changing. And one of the things that's changing is that people are starting to invest in new classes of insurers, right? So I'm sure some of you might even be in the room. Is there anybody from any of these companies in this room? Raise your hand, loud and proud. No? Yeah, hey, what's up? Okay, yeah, they're here. And look at how much money, everybody's camera went up just now. I just thought, so look at these dollar amounts. This is significant, this is this year, right? And these are like the second or third, you can see the totals for some of these companies. These guys are coming for you. In fact, they're here. They're here on the other side of the room, ready to mingle at networking at the end over craft whiskey. So, pay attention to this because this is tech enabled, right? This is consumer friendly. This is answering a market need. So what do you need to do in your health plan, your traditional health plan, to pivot, to change the way things are going so that you can compete with these guys? And these are questions you should be asking yourself while you're here for these next couple days. It's a good thing you're here. Ding. Right? It's a good thing you're here. It's a good thing that they're here. It's a good thing that we're all talking about this, and it's a good thing that AHIP is launching this better consumer care center, which I think is going to provide you guys with a point of, access, a point of collecting your thoughts, a point of collaboration, a place where you can kind of see what's happening out there and bring this stuff back to your giant institutions and integrate it in. We've got a lot to do. We've got a lot to talk about. The ultimate goal is to make people be in love with you again, right? You know where you're at, and you know what you need to fix, and we know we want to get to this. Simple as can be. So what do you have to do? For the next couple days, this is what I ask of you. Keep your mind open. Like I said, don't poo-poo, don't think this is what we've always done. I sat in enough of those meetings, actually sat in an empty conference room with the conference call line on, banging my head on the table, like, oh my God. Yes, I know we haven't done this. That's why I'm in business innovation. Come on, people. So you need to be asking these tough questions. And if you lose track, if you're like, well, what's the tough question to ask right now? I have no question. WTF works every single time, pretty much. And then the last thing I want you to do is whip out your phone, get on the free Wi-Fi, and don't worry about charging your phones, because Teledoc's got this cute little charging station in the lobby in the middle of the day. You can just rush right out there. But I want you to tweet. I need you guys to put this stuff out there. Because like I said, we don't hear enough from health plan people. And so report back to the people in home office. Report back to the rest of the world. What do you think is interesting? What things up on this stage are resonating with you? Tweet about it. And make sure that you hashtag it. AHIPcx, and you can tag me if you want me to take a look, and you can tag AHIP coverage if you want them to take a look. I'm a free retweeter. I am an easy retweet for you. So if you want to bump up your social impact score, I'm your girl. That's it, people. We're going to get rolling here. Let's go. This morning is jam-packed. We've got 3 sessions back to back to back. So I'm going to have you stand up in between them. Don't worry. I'm like, oh my God, I could not sit there that long. I get to pace. But this first session is going to set up the problem. So this day has been built beautifully by the AHIP program team, and I want to shout them out, Lisa Shreve and her team, who've done an amazing job curating this program. And so what they've done for you in this morning, which I'm going to set up right now, is we're going to set up the problem. We're going to talk about how terrible things are. We're going to wallow in our misery. We're going to talk about healthcare complexity. We're going to talk about how challenging it is for consumers. We're going to do all of that. Then, when we're feeling as miserable as possible, we're going to pull ourselves up out our bootstraps, and we're going to start talking about 2 macro level ideas. So we're going to pull out of healthcare entirely, shake the cobwebs out, and we're going to hear from Rohit Bhargava, who's going to talk to us about trends, and how you chase trends, how you jump ahead of trends, how you use trends to drive innovation in your business. Okay, so macro level view on trends. Then we're going to go macro level view on brand and consumer engagement, and we're going to talk to a man named Johnny Cupcakes, which to me is like one of the best stage names I've ever heard in my life. Who doesn't want to be referred to as Cupcake? So we're going to talk to Johnny, and Johnny, like I said, is going to tell us how to make customers fall in love with you, which is something I think we all need to hear, regardless of what industry you're in. So we're going to do that. And then afterward, we are going to transition to lunch, which is going to be amazing. You're going to mix and mingle with the exhibitors. We're going to come back, have a panel. We're going to talk about where this stuff starts to make sense in healthcare. So it's like we're going to go way out, and then we're going to land right back in healthcare. We're going to talk about digital health solutions for complex populations, which is like the most healthcare thing I think I've said in a really long time. So that's our day, and then we're going to mix and mingle, like I said, at the very, very end. You're going to meet new people, especially those people from the health plans who are sitting over there, so scope them out. And that's it. So ready? Someone nod, say something.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh my God, okay. So I'm going to casually walk over here and read my notes about who's coming up next. So we've got this fantastic panel coming up for you guys, and so I'm going to introduce the speakers for you for it. So I'm starting out here with Greg Brown. Actually, yeah, why don't you guys come on out? I'm lonely. Hey. I've got Greg Brown, who's the Divisional Senior Vice President for Service Delivery Operations at Healthcare Service Corporation, which I had to look up because I was like, what are these words and what does this mean? And so basically, for those who aren't in the know, it's the mothership company for a whole bunch of Blues plans, Prime Therapeutics, and some other healthcare businesses. And then, he's in charge of Operations Solutions Center of Excellence, very impressive, and the Digital Member Experience Strategy. So plenty to learn there from Greg. We have Stephen Nelson, and he is the Vice President of Performance Services at Premier Inc. And so Premier bills itself as a, quote, healthcare improvement company, which is code for, they have built like a consortium of 4,000 health systems, and then 165,000 other care providers. And basically they're working with all of them to like buy stuff like group procurement, but also to like source out best practices, both in the clinical sense, the innovation sense, member services, member engagement sense, all of that. And Steve is directly responsible for growth and innovation for the Performance Services business unit. I'm going to, before I introduce JP, who's going to provide some remarks and tell us just how bad health system complexity is and bring us all down from this, don't. He's going to bring us all up. I wanted to just say real quickly, for those of you who've noticed in the program book that we're missing somebody that we did have on this panel, Tammy Lewis, and she's the Chief Marketing Officer for CVS, Care Market CVS Specialty, and unfortunately she couldn't be with us for the event because she had a death in the family. So we send our best thoughts to her, and on that very, very positive note, I'm turning it over to you, sir. So JP is the Managing Director for Accenture Health, and he leads Accenture's front office payer practice, which focuses on the transformation of the functions of customer experience, digital, product, marketing, sales, and of course, service. So, JP.
Great. Well,